You are watching 720 System Strategies, the #1 YouTube channel for bankruptcy attorneys, hosted by Philip Tirone.
I'm here with Jonas Ash with Ash Auto Group. They're rolling out a new way to help your clients redeem cars during a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Jonas, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
So, Jonas, start off high level. For years, you've been, the go-to place for replacement vehicles during a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13 process. Like we've
Right.
incorporated you into our lead follow-up emails. We've incorporated you with our intakes. We know how it helps speed the time of filing when a debtor in their mind knows that, oh my gosh, wait, I could get a different car during bankruptcy, right?
Mhm.
So, and many of our attorneys have seen these videos before. They understand the speed to filing concept and why that's important. But you didn't do redemption before.
Right.
And I remember last year you called me and you said, hey, I'm testing out redemption. We're going to come up with a better way.
Right.
And you just rolled it out last month. Let's talk about it.
Perfect. Yeah, we're super excited. This is a new program. And like anything we do here, we start with the attorney process, the attorney, experience workflow, and we work backwards and see how we can fit our process on the vehicle side into that. So for years, we have offered replacement vehicles. I think we're going on, about 12 or 13 years of really focused on, being the only dealership in the country that exists to serve bankruptcy clients, helping them replace their vehicles. But we kept hearing, about the marketplace, firms across the country that we work with looking for another option for vehicle redemptions for their Chapter 7 filers. And we've really spent the last couple years kind of fine tuning that process. We didn't want to roll anything out until we felt like we had every box checked and that we had a superior offering to anything that was out there. And one thing that was, a pretty common theme was that the ease of use and the time and the execution that it would take for the attorneys and the firms and people, doing the work on their side to get the process done and ensuring that if any work was required, if any motions are going to be filed, that the transaction will actually go through.
Just
Yeah,
really quickly. So you're talking the ease of you from a debtor's attorney's office, right?
absolutely.
So what does that look like? Like when you
Yeah,
say ease of use, what's the debtor attorney office doing? I know they probably know that because they're watching, but I'm
sure.
asking the question.
Yeah, and it's interesting because many firms are doing redemptions currently. Some firms have heard about redemptions, but just never done one before, or some, just are new to the process overall. And we can actually accommodate anybody that's anywhere in any of those three categories. So essentially, for Chapter 7 filers from firms, good candidates are folks that they're filing Chapter 7. They have a vehicle that's 10 years old or newer, so 2016 or newer, under 125,000 miles or less, and they really owe a lot more than the vehicle is currently worth. What we will do, a very simple process, if they have a vehicle that fits that requirement and they want to look at their options for retaining that vehicle, what we'll do is we'll work with them. We will get a financing approval in place. So that's a thing that's very unique about our process. We will never require any attorney action or a motion to be filed until we have financing secured. So that once we get that approval, we'll reach out. We can provide example motions for firms to go off of, or if they've done them themselves, they already know that process. And once that motion is filed, there's a 100% chance that the vehicle is going to be redeemed, that it will go through, and then there is attorney compensation associated with that. So we want to make sure that if we're requiring any type of work, from a paralegal, from an attorney, that the transaction is going to go through and it's going to work for everybody. So we needed to make sure that was the most important part of this process to us, is time management and making sure that we were enhancing the experience for the client and making it as easy as possible for the firms that we work with, and all the chips fall into place from there.
So I mean, have you heard that there's times where people don't get pre-approved and they can't get to keep the car? That distinction?
Yeah, we've heard everything from, dealerships or companies requiring attorneys to file motions. And then it turns out the financing wasn't in place to refinance the vehicle. So it was a waste of time, to attorneys or firms that are having to negotiate the payoffs and the appraisals with the banks themselves, the lenders that currently have the loans.
Okay.
I mean, we've heard everything. So this is a turnkey solution, and it is as easy as possible. And like I said, we spent years, consulting with firms, working with trustees, trying to figure out what the best process was for the client as well as the attorneys and paralegals.
Let me take this on a marketing perspective, speaking directly to
Sure.
debtor attorneys here. I mean, so we know definitively when clients are coming in, they do not always understand they're going to be able to either keep their car or they're going to be able to get a different car, right? It's important to reshape the belief patterns of the debtor. And one of the things you have got to include in your intake, in your follow up is, hey, we need to understand if you're going to keep your car or get a new car during the bankruptcy.
Right.
Like that's the game during the bankruptcy. Cause they're like, what do you mean get a new car? What do you
Yeah.
mean keep my car? Like you want to reshape the brain without selling. You drop that in, right?
Yeah.
So, before when we would bring you up on previous videos, they would send Ash Auto Group just for replacement. So it'd
Right.
be different. Replacement here, redemption here. Now it's like we talk about often your free car audit. The Ash Auto Group free car audit.
Yeah.
They set an appointment with you, go to Ash Auto Group, get a free car audit to figure out what you want to do. During that audit, is your team taking them through like here's what if you buy a new car is what you do, and here's what we can do for redemption? Like, what does your free car audit look like
Yeah.
in light of this new process?
Well, all day long, pretty much every day, we're doing auto consults where we will talk to the client, provide them, an evaluation of their current vehicle, let them know what their options are. We've really become a one-stop shop, and we can take this any direction that makes the most sense for the client, makes sense for the firms. So, if you refer someone over, now we're not just talking about replacement vehicles. We can talk about redemptions. We will always, look to any guidance that was provided by the firms before the clients talk to us, if they've talked to the firms before, and factor that in as well. But it's the feedback we're getting. It's really nice because now we have multiple options for these clients versus just replacement vehicles. Now, a lot of folks going through bankruptcy, it really is a great chance, a get out of jail free card to replace that current vehicle. But there are exceptions where someone has a nice vehicle, they're attached to it.
Yeah.
We can essentially negotiate it with their banks and say, they have 40,000 or 30,000 or 20,000 and current market value is half that. Well, we handle everything. We do the appraisals, we provide all the paperwork to the lender, we do the negotiation. We see that the refinancing we get an approval on refinancing, reach out, communicate that to the firm. They file a motion. We can provide an example of that if needed, and then it moves pretty quickly from there.
Great. Judge, what am I missing? What am I not asking for the debtor attorney? What am I not asking? Like, what is something else they bring up?
Yeah, one thing that comes up is attorney compensation, and that's an important question because there are motions being filed, there's work being done, and we're proud to say that we provide nation industry leading attorney compensation. So, that's dictated by the firms as well as our dealership, but everyone that we're working with currently, which is nationwide firms, are very happy with that, and that's something that's very important to us. And like I said, if we were going to roll out a redemption product, we've been working on this for years. We wanted to make sure every possible aspect of this was an industry leading standard, and just like with our replacement program.
Great. Well, I've said this before. You've always been, we're debtor focused, but
Yeah.
at the same time, the debtor attorney guides us. Like, we're not the lawyers. We're
Right.
following our debtor attorneys. I'm following my debtor attorneys. You're following your debtor attorneys, and that's the thing. And that's why we're big supporters of NACPA. We get out there because we want to meet debtor attorneys. So if you're a debtor attorney, want to talk to Jonas, we'll have his information or a contact information or calendar on the description. And Jonas, thanks for being on, and thanks for rolling out redemption.
Absolutely. We love the firms, the mom and pops, the bigger firms that we work with, all the sizes in between. And I always say that we work for the debtor attorney. I mean, we work for the debtor attorney. We take direction. We are an extension of that firm. if there's anything that we're lucky enough to get a referral, and there's anything specific that the referring attorney wants, we will do anything we can to make sure that happens. So just very appreciative for these opportunities, and very excited about this redemption program. We're going to help a lot of folks. We're already helping a lot of folks, and it's a good thing to have available.
So great. Thanks, Jonas. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.